Welcome to And Know, where we can discover God's Word together. And Know is taken from the verse found in Psalm 46. Be still and know that I am God. Being still actually takes a lot of patience and energy. Every day we hustle from here to there. So let's challenge ourselves to take just a moment to be still and see where God might lead us today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 25 of And Know. If you're enjoying a podcast here at And Know, I'd be so honored if you would share it with a friend. And as always, I welcome your feedback and your comments. You can even email me at andknowheidi@gmail.com. Alrighty, back to episode 25. We are in the midst of a super busy season of life. I love this season. It's a good season, but it is a really busy one. Over the next number of weeks, I have 2 kids' birthday parties, an out-of-town family reunion that's been an annual tradition for 50 years, an out-of-town wedding that I am so excited to attend, Father's Day, a church wind-up, a grade 12 graduation, and a partridge in a pear tree. And as busy as it all is, there's just not one thing that I'd remove from my calendar. I love each of these moments and I want to savor each of them when I'm in that moment. But the way I keep my head on relatively straight, well, it's through my calendars and my checklists. There's so many checklists, but I know that they work because when I don't use them, I miss or forget things. For example, a few weeks ago, I forgot about 2 meetings, one of which I was hosting. Why? Well, when I scheduled the meetings, I forgot to put them in my calendar. So that's not very helpful. So I know that checklists and calendars work well for me. Here's the kicker though. Because I love my checklist and my calendar, I tend to think all aspects of my life should be completed with lists. Because with lists, I can manipulate and control what I do or don't do during a day. But that's not always a great thing. For example, I can't task manage my way through a marriage and it be a healthy one. A healthy marriage needs space to live and breathe. It's not stagnant and it can't be reduced to tasks that are needed to be completed. Marriage needs space for honest conversations and quality time, and you can't always schedule that in. I can't task manage parenting either. I like going to bed at a good time, like early. But if one of my kids needs to talk at 11:30 at night, well, then that's when we're talking, because nothing is more important. I also can't create a checklist for my relationship with God. Now, I think that there are important steps that bring us closer to Jesus, taking time to pray, learning more about who he is, spending time with other believers, and connecting with a faith community. These are all good steps in creating a healthy relationship with Jesus. But a checklist? Absolutely not. You cannot task manage or work your way into heaven. Now, I'll speak for myself here and say that while I know that in my head, I also know how my head works. And I can fall into a lie that says, well, if you complete this, surely God will love you more. And here are some of the other lies that rattle around in my brain. Don't say no. You'll disappoint God then. Don't forget to smile, even when your day is hard. Be on your best behavior, always. Tell everyone you're fine. No one really wants to know how hard life can be for you. Do any of these sound somewhat familiar to you? It's really quite unbelievable when you say them out loud how terrible they sound. But I also know how quickly we can fall into a trap of being a task-focused faith. There is no place in the Bible that tells us, well, if you're good enough, then and only then will God love you. That's just not how God works. That is not who God is. The Bible reminds us over and over again that it is by grace that we are saved, and that every single one of us needs that grace. Ephesians 2 verses 8 and 9. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. I love how the Apostle Paul adds that last part, so that no one can boast. Because those of us who like checklists and task lists, we also love completing them, and we feel very accomplished when we do. And sometimes we like to tell others when those are completed. But the apostle knew what he was writing when he said, so that no one can boast. And know this, the apostle Paul also knew what he was doing when he wrote that this is not from yourselves, it is a gift of God. Now, earlier I mentioned that I have 2 kids' birthdays coming up. I really do love buying gifts for loved ones. I love finding something unique or fun that tells them, I know you. And the best is when I get it right and their reaction is one of true joy. But I don't always get those gifts right. Sometimes I am way off. But you know who always gets them right? God. Why? Because his gifts are perfect and he knows you best. So when the apostle Paul says, this is not from yourselves, he's reminding each of us that our salvation has nothing to do with our task lists or our checklists. Our salvation has everything to do with God's grace. And I am eternally grateful that I don't have to live in this constant state of tension or anxiety over my eternity. Yeah, there are things that I should do to deepen my faith in Jesus. Those will only be a benefit and blessing to me. But I am sure glad that I can scratch the checklist when it comes to salvation. I can mark that one off. I can crumple it up and throw it away, because that will never be one that will be finished well or done right. Thank the good Lord Almighty that he has taken that on. His gift gives me freedom away from a checklist kind of faith. His gift gives me space to breathe and live and have hope in eternity. I hope today's podcast has been a blessing to you today.